The discourse about age gap relationships rages on, and the latest example of that is famous football coach Bill Belichick and his new girlfriend, who is 48 years his junior. Her name is Jordan Hudson, and their relationship has faced a lot of memeing, a lot of clowning, but also a lot of genuine backlash because some people believe that it's creepy for a 24-year-old to be dating a 72-year-old, right?
72.
He's not in his 60s, he's in his 70s. Even her ex-boyfriend, who was 64, came out to defend her and say, you know, this is totally normal.
What?
But clearly she has a type.
How old was she when he was dating him? Oh, I mean,
And her type is money.
The woman that Al Pacino got pregnant was also dating an old man before she got pregnant by Al Pacino.
You're right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is an anchor baby, right? But look, if her type is money, you can find plenty of rich guys, especially in the NFL, who are not in their 70s.
Because if she marries him and there's no prenup and he dies, she's just going to live her best life.
That's what they made CSI episodes about back in the day.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like he cares about how it's being perceived.
Dude is literally going to just shoot it until he dies, and that's it.
So Travis Kelce recently weighed in on this on his own podcast, and he just said that Bill Belichick is a smooth operator, essentially saying that, you know, he stands by him.
It's the meme. It's the she was 24, you sick bastard.
Yeah, he said he wanted nothing to do with the Belichick relationship talk and shut it down.
Yeah, Jason.
Interesting.
That's a lose-lose for him, right? Like, it's just too hot button of an issue.
Why is it a hot button issue, though? Like,
I imagine that the fans of his girlfriend would have strong opinions on age gap relationships.
Absolutely. But then why is it, like, Travis is basically condoning it, saying, like, oh, smooth operator, he's doing fine. Like, go him. But I think it's disgusting. Like, I'm 24. The thought of me dating someone who is like my grandfather, like, that's disgusting. I don't think we should be normalizing these absurd age gaps relationships.
What's the max age gap that's not disgusting? Like that should be capped at?
For me, I wouldn't date someone older than probably 35.
Okay.
That would probably be my oldest. At 24, I turn 25 next month. So I would say my age gap limit is like 35. I will say the older you get, the better it is. Like if you're 40 and you're dating someone 55, that's okay. But 40-year difference, like that's your grandpa.
That it's almost 50 in this case.
Who are we just talking about recently? Cher is with somebody who's 40 years younger than her.
Yeah. But she's so old that he's like in his 30s, right?
I think so.
Nobody is going to think that a 35-year-old man is getting groomed by Cher.
How old is Leonardo DiCaprio now? Because I know he's got the 25-year.
49.
Yeah, isn't he like 50?
Which I still think is kind of gross. Like even Leo dating the younger 20s. I'm like, people are doing it, I just feel like, for the fame, the attention, and the money at that point.
Well, of course, yes.
Well,
because is anyone doing this in a normie situation? No. It is only like these hyper celebrity men who are super wealthy dating these young women who want that life.
Yeah, statistically, it's very abnormal. Most people, it's kind of shocking actually how rare age gaps are on average. The average couple is only 3 years apart in age or less. And it's really something you only see with people in the public eye.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie that had Anne Hathaway in it about the age gap relationship of her as a mom falling in love?
We talked about it. I did not watch it.
I watched it. And
what was that like?
It was normalizing age gap relationships in my eyes because they didn't depict it like it was as big of an age gap as the book actually was.
Yeah.
So when you're actually watching the movie, you're like, oh, this is like kind of normal, and the daughter's like okay with it. But I think it was still just disturbing. Why would like a 40-year-old mom be dating like a 20-year-old pop star?
Why would they look at the book and then change it if they didn't think that the age gap in the book was kind of creepy?
There's also there's a notion now, because all throughout, you know, previous generations, it was about men being older and the women being younger. Now there's a notion of empowerment around women dating younger men that's prevalent in Hollywood.
But it's because they believe it's predatory, right? It's like we can be disgusting predators now.
Too.
Like it's like
no, see, I don't think they see it that way. I think they see it as empowering because they think
women.
of it. Yeah, they see it as empowering for women because one, the physical they're not at physical risk in the same way that like men are not at physical risk in the same way that women are.
Yeah.
And they just see it as an empowering act rather than something that's actually.
Wait, what do you mean by physical risk?
Well,
Like pregnancy?
No. What I'm saying is like, so an older man, like a younger man, like an older woman and a younger man, or an older man and a younger woman, like a man is always the physical threat to them, right? But like a woman is not, like a man is not at physical risk by dating an older woman, the way that, a younger woman might be at physical risk.
Well, that would
dating
mean that a woman is always taking a physical risk by
I'm just
dating
saying
a man.
that there's a
because-
notion to it that it's not seen as predatory, whether
feel
it's
like
because
it
we don't
still
hold
is.
because we
Okay.
don't hold women to the same standard of taking responsibility for their own actions as men.
Okay, so you as a 24-year-old said like you would only date up to probably 35, right?
Yeah.
But
On the
I
high
think
end.
like the on the high end, and I think the reason why it's becoming such a contentious issue is because Gen Z is particularly weird about age gaps to the
Yeah.
point where they would think you're being groomed if you as a 24-year-old dated a 35-year-old man. They would think that you are a victim in that situation.
They will never
which
see
is
the man.
patently ridiculous.
No, it's crazy. And I agree with you. I think that we've normalized you have to date within like the first like 3 to 4 years of however old you are, because if you're dating someone too older, it is predatory.
Yeah.
Because it has
This
become
is the
normal.
same reason that when female teachers abuse students, it's called sexual misconduct, and when men do it, it's rape.
Yeah.
Well, also, like, even if you dated 72-year-old Bill Belichick, although this would
Absolutely
never
not.
happen, I know this would never happen, but if you did, I just still wouldn't think of you as a victim in that situation.
Well, I feel like I think it's more in that
Because you're
situation,
24.
It's in the vast age gap. I do feel like it's more the woman taking advantage of the man. Because it's like, is she actually going to marry him? Is she actually going to like have his kid?
Does the man actually want that?
Like, does he want that? What is she? She
So
is
you
being
think that-
provided fame and money, I guess, and access. But then what do her friends think about? Like, that's what I could not understand.
Do you think he
It's like
wants?
the,
I don't
the
think he wants
secondhand
kids.
embarrassment.
I don't think he wants kids. I think he wants to just have sex up until the day he dies.
We got a 20 from Nate. He said, that's wild. Age gaps are cool for women for the exact same reason. They're gross for dudes. The lady is getting hers. The guy is a creep. Awesome.
So television for the last 20 years has been pushing the narrative that that women like younger men because as women
true.
mature, they hit their sexual peak later in life, and they're more self-assured, they're more confident, thus less easy to take advantage of. But that's because we operate under the premise that I guess that women mature later than men, which is weird because I've been told my whole life that women mature faster than men, and women.
Okay. Let's just be honest. The vast majority of old men don't have access to hot chicks in their
Correct.
20s.
Fact.
The vast majority of older women also don't have access to hot dudes in their 20s because you have to have something else that's on offer, like money. And I just wanted to show this TikTok of a girl in her 20s explaining why she thinks even 10-year age gaps are creepy and gross. It makes her ew. It gives her the ick. It's called PSA for young women dating older guys.
It's in the second one. This one here.
Yep.
Here we go.
I'm going to do a PSA to young women. If you think that you are dating a hot, sexy, older man who makes his own money and has it together and he's 32 and you're 21, let me tell you fucking something. You think that you're smart, and I'm sure you are, baby girl, but you're not smart enough. And you will look back when you're 28 and you will say, ew. What was I doing? And you will say, if I knew a man this age dating a girl that young, I would slap him back and forth. And I hate to break it to you because I've done it and she's done it. And I heard women tell me the same thing and I rolled my eyes, but I'm going to tell you now. And you roll your eyes all you want. You're going to look back and you're going to say, ew.
Well, thank you.
It was a very strongly worded message, but she's talking about an 11-year age gap between a 21-year-old girl and a 32-year-old
32.
guy.
I don't think that's predatory. This might sound
yeah.
like super trad of me, but like I think that women are starting to realize like, oh, I do want to, get married, have some kids, be a mom. I can have a career on the side and do something. But if you are wanting a lifestyle and wanting a man to provide for you, if you want to actually be able to afford a house in this economy and live a nice life. You don't have to chase after, okay, I'm going to work for 5-6 years, and then what, you're going to be 28 and single and miserable, and who are you going to date then? Because all the 30, 31, 32 and older are already married because they found their matches.
So now the men are like, I want a house too, so I'm going to marry this divorced woman who's got some money because she's got her career.
No.
Yeah.
It's because of the recession. It's like age gaps are going to get more prevalent because people just need to use each other for survival.
Transactional relationships.
Look, it's not. I quote tweeted this actually because I felt like everyone was miscommunicating and thinking that this is about some kind of sexual jealousy. And in a lot of cases, that is where it comes from. But I think the main reason why women would look at an age gap relationship of any sort and think, ew, especially if that woman is herself in her early 20s, it's probably because those relationships are inherently transactional. It's basically glorified prostitution where Jordan Hudson is with Bill Belichick for his money and Bill Belichick is with Jordan Hudson for sex. And that is just glorified prostitution. That's the reason why you look at a relationship like that and go, ew. Not because it's some kind of victimization or she's being groomed or whatever. It's not like that. It's because people think relationships should have meaning. Even if they don't admit it to themselves or publicly admit that, people know that, you know, relationships should be about more than a transaction of goods and services. Right?
Right.
I think that's really what people are, it's like going over people's heads.
But the 10-year age gap, I don't think is transactional in that case, though.
Well, yeah, in that case, like a 21-year-old and a 32-year-old, okay, maybe in some situations that would be a transactional relationship, but in a lot of other situations, it's not.
Well, think about also like male maturity. Like guys just mature later in life than women. So I feel like there could be some very decent
Which shouldn't be the case.
Well, then why?
It should not take a man until age 32 to be an adult.
I agree.
But unfortunately, that is the reality of things right now.
So why is it then that we're so much more hesitant when the woman is younger if women mature faster than men?
Well, I think I'm not hesitant if the woman's
I'm saying,
younger.
but like
we as in
the general
age
notion
gaps.
is that when the guy is older and the woman is younger, that there's more hesitancy towards relationships like that because, like you said, you put your you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said that they can't really explain why they find it gross because it's you think that's because relationships should be more. But I think the general notion is people just say ew and they say, well, the girl is younger, he must be taking advantage of her. But if we're operating under the premise that women mature faster than men, then a 24-year-old is perfectly capable of making her own choices. But nobody says that about a 24-year-old dude being with an older woman. It'll never be seen that way. And that's kind of, to my point about the physical risk of it, is that the man is putting himself in less danger there. But is the 24-year-old male not every bit as capable of making decisions about who he sleeps with as a woman at 24 if women mature faster than men?
I don't think anyone truly believes that a 24-year-old is being groomed by anybody.
Oh, I believe that people all over Twitter
I think they're telling themselves that, but they do not genuinely believe that.
I think it's probably closer to. I think it's probably closer to they think they believe that they believe that, but what your explanation about relationships needing to mean more is probably actually the more thought out, concrete example of what that actual thought process would be.
I think the bigger the age gap, the bigger the problem. Like 10 years, I feel like is max. Like that's an acceptable age gap. But the older you get, like I said, like 40 to 60, like okay, that's a pretty big gap, but it's more acceptable.
It obviously depends on the people as well, which is going over everyone's heads as well. I just think people they don't have a vocabulary to describe what a relationship should even be. And like the idea that dating has a purpose is totally lost on our culture now because it's all about having fun. And when you say it's all about having fun, what you really mean by that, like underneath those words, it's really about using people.
Buy her a house,
women are using men for money. They see them as walking wallets, and men are using women for sex. They see them as walking fleshlights. And everyone is dissatisfied with what's going on here, but they would have to admit to themselves that dating should be about more than having fun. And no one is willing to do that because they want to keep on using and discarding other human beings like their commodities.
Buy her a house, Bill. Buy her a house and get her.
Buy
and
Jordan a house.
Put a ring on her finger and buy her a house and have all the sex you want up until the day you die, so you can pretend it meant something.
That's what I tweeted today. I said, like, if a guy can't plan a date, what makes you think he can plan the future with you? Because it's so normalized now in culture, is like hookup culture, sleep with whoever you want. Absolutely, with the feminist movement having zero like expectations, like you can just do whatever you want with no consequences. And I think that that's been the downfall of relationships, is that's why no one's getting married anymore.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.